She laughed at my dress and called it poor. I thought it was over. But the moment I stepped into the party, everything changed, and her reaction shocked everyone. I never imagined that a simple piece of clothing could become the reason for such drama, for laughter, and for lessons that would last a lifetime. I remember that morning I stood in front of the mirror, holding the plain dress my daughter had mocked the day before. She said, "Mom, this is for poor people." I felt my chest tighten because I had worked hard to save every penny for that day, to see my daughter shine, to see her smile. And yet her words cut deeper than I had expected. I tried to explain that it was a simple dress. But simple can be beautiful, I told her. True elegance comes from confidence, not price tags. But she laughed anyway, rolling her eyes, running out of the room without a glance. I sighed and looked at the mirror, imagining a different day, imagining a different scenario, imagining a party where I could turn this moment into something unforgettable. The invitation had been for weeks, a grand evening full of celebration, friends and family. The kind of event where people flaunt wealth and elegance. I had no designer gown, no jewels, no extravagant shoes. But I had something else: determination, and a quiet sense of grace. I told myself tonight, I would not let ridicule define me. I would not let a dress dictate my worth. As I stepped into the party, the chandeliers shimmered, soft light fell across polished floors and glittering decorations. The crowd was lively, chatting, laughing, and I could feel the tension in my chest slowly shift into courage. I took a deep breath and walked forward, wearing a dress that I had altered myself, giving it elegance with simple grace, a dress that was modest yet radiant. In the soft lights of the hall, I could see familiar faces turning heads, whispering compliments, and then I saw her, my daughter, standing near the punch table, her eyes wide as she took in the transformation. She had never expected the same mother who seemed ordinary yesterday now appeared luminous, confident, and graceful. Her hand flew to her mouth, her knees buckled slightly, and she fainted right there in front of everyone. The room went silent except for the quick steps of friends rushing to help. She landed softly, but my heart raced as I ran to her side, holding her trembling frame. I whispered, "It's okay, it's okay." As her eyes fluttered open, she looked up at me in shock mixed with awe, and I realized this moment was bigger than a dress, bigger than pride, bigger than embarrassment. It was a lesson that beauty and worth cannot be defined by mocking words. I held her hand as she sat on the luxurious couch, recovering her breath. I explained calmly, gently, the value of self-respect, of confidence, of inner beauty that cannot be purchased, but is felt when one embraces oneself fully. She looked at me with teary eyes and said, "Mom, I didn't realize I was wrong. I didn't see how strong you are. I didn't see how much love you put into everything you do." That day became more than just a party. It became a turning point for our relationship, for her understanding of respect, for her growth into empathy and kindness. I learned that ridicule can break hearts, but courage can build bridges. As the night progressed, she stayed by my side, amazed at the compliments I received, amazed at how simple elegance can turn heads without arrogance, without showing off. She apologized several times in whispers, and I held her close, assuring her that mistakes are part of learning, that love is bigger than embarrassment, and that humility and grace will always shine brighter than the harshest words from anyone else. The rest of the party went on with laughter, music, and joy, but in that room there was a quiet understanding that would stay with her forever, a lesson not taught by lectures, but by example and lived through courage. I walked home that night feeling proud, not just for myself, but for the young woman she was becoming, the one who had learned the hard way that life rewards confidence, honesty, and love above all else. Even today, when I think about that evening, I smile because the memory reminds me that our strength is often underestimated, that grace and confidence have power, and that children sometimes need moments to teach them lessons they will never forget. She looks at me now differently, with respect, love, and a quiet admiration. And I remember that night as the night a simple dress changed everything and proved that courage, elegance, and heart are worth more than any designer gown, any jewel, or any fleeting mockery.